Hello there, my name is Molly. Welcome to my channel. Here we do some sewing, crafts, and fun. Emerald City Comic Con is coming up quickly, and I've got about 2 weeks to put together a costume. I used to do a lot of cosplay, but I haven't for a long time, so I'm really excited and really nervous. For my costume, Kate and I, my sister, just played Bioshock Infinite, and I think I want to be Elizabeth, specifically her first outfit here. I loved her outfit. It's kind of close to some of the things I already wear, and I think it would be a good sewing challenge for me. I've got a lot of fabric, and I can't wait to get started. First off, let's talk a little bit about design. Elizabeth wears boots, a skirt, a white blouse, and has a bow in her hair as well as a choker. Those are the main elements that I'm going to be focusing on. What I think I want to get started with is the skirt. The skirt is technically kind of a kilt if you look at it. It looks like it has a closure that goes with these pleats on the side. And I think that should be doable, but since it also flares out, I'm a little bit unsure of how to tackle this. I got myself a lot of extra fabric just in case. So I think what I'm going to do is just jump in so that I can get an idea of how to put this together. This is a kilt that I just happen to have and wear regularly. I brought it up here for some mending, but we're going to use it as a reference. I actually just watched some video of the gameplay with Elizabeth running and the scene where she's dancing, and the skirt actually looks more A-line. This has a lot of twirl in it because of the pleats. The pleats on her skirt are only a small portion of the side. So I think we might have to actually find a pattern for an A-line skirt that flares out on the bottom. I'm going to do some digging through my pattern stash and see what we can turn up. Here is the plan. This is a pattern for a flared skirt from the book Gertie Sews Vintage Casual. She's wearing a variation of it on the cover. This pattern requires 4 panels, but instead we're just going to use 3, and then for the 4th panel we are going to do the pleats. Hopefully that will work out like it does in my head. I think we're just going to have to try to find out. So I'm going to start cutting fabric. Elizabeth's skirt I'm looking at has no seams in it, from what I can tell, which is fine. She doesn't need seams because she's a computer person. But I do. So I'm going to try and just fold this over multiple times so we don't end up with the seams that would go along these 2 sides of the pattern piece. And I don't know if it'll work. So now that I've cut out a piece that I'm going to use for the lining, I need to figure out how to do the piece for the pleats on the side of the skirt. This is the section that's the top of the waist, and I'm going to take this measurement and double it, so hopefully when I pleat it down, it'll be that 1/4 of the waist measurement. I hope. Let me show you what we're working with. Okay, so, I think that's pretty good. I mean, like, right now it's pleated together at the bottom just to keep these lines in, but I think this is gonna work. I am pleased as punch. So, what am I gonna do next? I think sew the side of this together here, and then maybe I will put a line of stitching across the top to hold the top pleats in place. Maybe we'll try and do the trim before we get to any more the dark blue trim along the bottom of the skirt. Oh, we could flip a coin for this. Trim or pleats, heads or tails. I'll say trim is heads. I never find that quite as satisfying. But cheer up, there's always next time. Hello there, friends. It is another day, and since Trim won the coin toss, I think that's what we are going to start. What I am going to do is use this blue fabric, I gotta find it, is cut strips out of this darker blue fabric and then sew them onto the bottom. I'm going to leave the edge hem free because that is going to be bound in bias tape, and I want to get as little bulk in there as possible. Let's get started. Hi. So now that this long piece of trim is all cut out and good to go, I'm gonna pin it down to the skirt and sew that on. I don't know why cutting things out makes me so tired. Maybe it's like just the act of crawling around on the ground. Eventually, I will set up a cutting table in here. Eventually. Alright, so now that we have this trim on, I'm going to do another layer of trim. Elizabeth has sort of a yellowish, whitish layer at the bottom of the skirt. It might be like a petticoat, but I think it'll add a little bit more flair if I do it in the same sort of yellowy gold trim that I'm planning to do for the rest of the outfit. So I'm going to pin that on, and a lot of that is going to be hand sewn. So we might do that and then call it for today. So I have done some more work on the skirt. I've added this cute yellow trim, which needs to be hand stitched on the inside, and I've also added a lining which needs to be hemmed, and I got these pleats ironed in place. I'm going to put the straps that she has on here. I think this is going to close with snaps. I think that's all I've got right now. I have the skirt mostly constructed, but what I want to work on now is these oblong shapes, kind of ribbony pieces that hold the skirt closed. I've marked where I want the top two to be, and I'm going to start by tracing those out and figuring out where to put them on. Then we'll move on to the lower ones, which I have not marked yet. We've got 5 days until I need to have this costume done. And I'm starting to get nervous, but I'm just gonna keep on working on it, as we always do, and see how far we can get. This is like my fatal flaw, not having costumes quite ready by the time I need them to be. So I'm gonna work on that this year. That's gonna be a goal. I'm gonna try on the skirt and pin the stripes onto where I think they're going to go, and we'll see if they look good. I think these look, ow, got myself again, pretty darn good. So we'll make the lower straps for the bottom of the skirt. I have to do some work for my office today, so that might be the end of our session. But I think that's pretty much having the skirt done structurally. And then I just need to do, like, adding the buttons to these straps. I'm feeling a lot better than I was.
2 dashes of our itty bitty.
Sometimes that noise can be cute, and other times it can be really gross. So, you're welcome. Today we are switching our direction a little bit. I have mostly finished the skirt. I just need to do snaps Last night I put on the straps and sewed on all the decorative buttons. I had trouble finding 8 that matched, but the ones that are different I don't think you're going to be able to see. I'll just spend all of my time in this cosplay jogging. It'll be great. Now we are going to have to focus on the blouse that she wears. I did not want to make a blouse from scratch, and at this point I've got 3 more days before the convention, so I'm really glad that I didn't try and do that. I ordered this one just off Amazon. It has pin tucks on the front, which is what I was really looking for. The plan for this is to replace the collar and the cuffs, which I'm sad about because these cuffs are so cute. Look at those ruffles! I'm gonna try and keep these and maybe put them on a different shirt. I'm feeling pretty confident about this. So I just finished putting the collar and the cuffs on, and oh, I think they look so good. These need to be closed up with buttons, but I'm going to do snaps so that I can easily change in and out of this myself. And because I don't like sewing buttonholes, I still don't feel confident with them. Eventually we will get there. This collar needs yellow bias tape around it. I'm not quite sure what to do about this tabby tab right here. I think I'm just gonna trim it down because Elizabeth's collar is just sort of straight. Hopefully that'll look good if I bind the whole thing in bias tape. So I've pinned on some of the trim. I think it looks like it's gonna work out okay. It is wrinkly though because of the pins that I have in it. But I think I'm gonna sew it on and just see how it looks, and if I don't like it, then I'll take it out and do something else. Team, it's time to finish this costume! Because the convention is tomorrow. I've done it again. I've taken it straight up to the end of our time. But that's okay. I'm getting a phone call. It's Jack. Hello, friend. Literally my friend's calling to talk about plans for the convention. I've got to get to work. We're getting to work. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, first things first. We gotta sew trim on the collar. I have put all the things we need to do in my planner, so this is gonna keep us on track. Let's go. Trim is sewn on. I am heating up my iron so that I can hem it. And what I'm gonna do now is measure my neck to see how long I need to cut the scarf fabric. She's got this little tie around her neck. So I'm just sort of doing that with my measuring tape to see how long a piece of fabric I will need. Oh, that says 41 inches. This is probably not a great way to figure out this kind of measurement, but we're going with it. We've got literal hours before we're supposed to be at this convention, so we don't care. Let's try the blouse and the little scarf thingy on. I made the scarf thingy out of the same fabric as the darker trim on the skirt because that is the color that it matches, but I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the drape of that fabric as a scarf. The scarf in the video game is it looks lighter, that's what I'll say. It looks like a light flowy fabric, and this fabric is not that. It's a heavy, almost denim style fabric. But what I did was I ironed it so that it had a lot of steam and moisture in it, and then started going like this with my hands, and it's getting to take on more of that shape. But let's see. Yeah, it's definitely much more stiff than I want it to be, but I think it'll do for now. Okay, we are checking off making the scarf. That is done. Now it's time to make that choker that she wears. What I'm going to do is take some lace and then sew it on to a background piece of blue fabric. I would have liked to use a ribbon so that it was shiny on the back, but I don't know if you can hear this. This is someone coming back in the car in the bottom part of the garage. But I also want this to match the blue fabric of her skirt, so we're going to just use more of that. I did what I always do and bought way too much fabric, so we've got plenty to spare. I never showed y'all this, but I made a bow. This is for my hair, gonna go at the back in a ponytail. Oh, and this is what the choker looks like. I think this is very pretty. It is a little wide. I don't know if you can see. Look, I think this was hand-woven lace. I picked it up in an antique store and I love it. Everything else I have to do is hand sewing. And I think I'm going to head inside and do that while watching Sense and Sensibility with my family and just try and relax. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'll see you later.